Hey friends, that's Dimitri with your Bashka Streetwear. So here is a month in review for October 2023. This month was pretty fun for me. The first thing is, as you can tell, I'm wearing a new hoodie, and what I'm doing right now is basically product testing. This hoodie is thicker, the construction is simpler, so a lot of like the stitching seams are more hidden compared to the other hoodies I've been using. There's no hoodie strange, which I really like. And overall, this hoodie is more boxy, more sturdy. It feels a lot better. I have used, and this is a pigment dye black, I've used other pigment dye hoodies, and they're thinner and they work really great, but when it's wintertime, it's better, obviously, and in general, to have a thicker hoodie. They just sell better. But the place that I was getting my hoodie blanks from, they never offered the pigment dye black hoodie in like a thicker material until now, so that's really cool. I think the cost though is pretty much like double what a normal blank would cost. So what I'm thinking of doing is, after I test this out, I'm gonna keep wearing it more. I've been wearing it like every other day, and then I'm gonna wash it and see how it sets and get like good data on it basically. I think what I'm gonna do is, either in December or in January, I'm gonna introduce this at a discounted rate at my website and see how people like it. And from there on out, I'm probably in 2024, I'm gonna make this either a premium hoodie that's in addition to the normal hoodies I offer, because those hoodies are really good. That's kind of something I'm thinking about, because I don't want to drive away people that are used to a lower price point and they already like the hoodies I have, because they are already heavyweight hoodies, but this one's even more heavyweight. So either I will have the standard hoodie and this one as a premium hoodie, as a, like another basically offering to customers, or I will completely ditch. I probably won't ditch all the hoodies I've been using, but this one might be more of a mainstay. So that's something that I'm working on right now, which is cool. Another thing that I really liked this month was that I got a coffee machine. So one of my biggest vices for myself is that I spend way too much money on coffee, like hundreds of dollars a month. And it got to a point where, like, you know what? It'd be so much better and easier if I just got a nice espresso machine. So I forked up some money for that. And I guess in a way it's an early birthday present for myself and another addition to the office. But it's going to save me a lot of money per month, which is going to literally go back into the business. So it's actually going to be helping me grow faster. And I don't have to, drive over to the coffee shop, get in line, do all that kind of stuff, waste that time in the morning. I could just make it here. And I'm actually not too bad at making coffee myself, and I've been learning latte art and all that kind of stuff. That's been my side quest. It's kind of fun. And also just the amount of garbage and waste, that's not going to be a thing anymore. Like just coffee cups piling up in the garbage here and all that kind of stuff. I just have a mug now. So that's a lot better. One thing that I was inspired by myself, I guess, one of my videos, I was mentioning things that you can do, like qualities free, to improve your brand. And I was thinking, you know what, I need to take a look back on my website and see if I missed anything, if I need to do some tweaks. And I was actually surprised, because over the years, since one of the things that Shopify has that's a really great feature is that you can duplicate a product, which means you don't have to spend the time inputting a lot of data. So for instance, if you have a black t-shirt with a design on it, and then the next month you release another black t-shirt, you can basically copy and paste that product listing, obviously change the photos and tweak minor details if needed. But basically you save a lot of time doing that. And over time I would be, just duplicating product listings and changing details, but a lot of details I forgot. And I was just shocked. Like a lot of things that I noticed was, there was like weird spacing in some of the descriptions that weren't uniform. There was inaccurate descriptions. So some shirts would say like embroidered when it was screen printed, or it would be screen printed, but it was actually, or it would be embroidered, but it was actually screen printed, because I forgot to tweak small details like that, which was pretty bad. It didn't look professional. There was also some listings had just kind of unnecessary photos. So one thing that I recommend is that you have a main photo of the whole product. Then you have either 1 or 2 close-up photos, maybe detailing like the cuffs or the collar or for sure the design. So for sure have 2 photos, one of the main product and one with close-up of the design. But there were some photos I had where 2 of the photos are basically the same. One would be just slightly farther away and one would be slightly closer. And I don't recommend doing that because having too many images that are not necessary, what that will do is it'll essentially slow down your website and it'll just clog it up with information that the customer doesn't need. Having 2 to 4 photos of the product is more than enough for a t-shirt or a hoodie, right? You don't need 50 photos of the product because the customer should be able to decipher what the product is and what they're buying from those 2 to 4 photos. Now, if you have a really complicated product like a bag or something like that, something with more like zippers and pockets, yeah, you should probably be taking, 5 to 8 photos or something like that of that product, but only photos that are, very specific for what you're trying to communicate to the customer. Don't have too much redundancy in your product listings. So that's another tangent, but it's important information. Some things would be like on the product listing, I would accidentally write the wrong color, like, oh, this is a navy blue t-shirt, but it would actually be black. So that was also a problem. So I went through and scoured my whole website, fixed all those issues. I found like probably a dozen or more, just really small ones. A lot of them are like weird spacings and stuff in the product listing, so that's not as big, but still you want to make sure that you cover all your bases. What else? Oh, this was a big thing. I added the GSM to my product listing. So what that means is it basically is the thickness of the garment so people know what they're buying. I had a few customers over the past couple months asking me about that information, like, hey, what is the GSM for your t-shirts or hoodies? And then I would respond to them, but then in my mind I was like, you know what, I need to add that back to the website and have that. So I went through and for every single listing I added the GSM so people know exactly how thick the fabric is, because the t-shirts are heavyweight, the hoodies are heavyweight, but then there's a couple items that are not heavyweight, like the original pigment dye hoodies. Those are actually midweight. So that kind of information is very relevant to the customer. I know it would be for me because I like thicker hoodies like this, and I would not want to buy something that's midweight or lightweight. I definitely like heavyweight hoodies. There are people that like midweight or lightweight stuff, but you have to know what your customer wants. One thing that I also did on the website that I think is very helpful was I went ahead and organized all the stuff by color. So if you click on the t-shirt tab or the hoodie tab or whatever, you're going to get everything all organized by color. This is helpful because some people, they're not interested in buying clothes that are colorful. They want just black or gray or white clothing. I'm like that a lot. I'm not interested in colors. I would never like go ahead and buy like a bright red t-shirt or a bright blue t-shirt because that's not my style or personality. Whereas there is other people that they specifically want the bright colors. They want the orange, they want the blues and all that kind of stuff. So now on the website, they can easily and fast scroll down to which kind of color they're looking for, and everything's in line. And the thing that's also helpful is like some people like to order all in the same color. A lot of people on my website, they would just literally order all black or all grays. That's something that a lot of people do. So, and I think also visually it looks a lot better. It's not as cluttered looking. So I'm glad that I did that. I just thought of it randomly. I'm like, hey, maybe this would be better to do that. So I did that. Another thing that I did was I've been holding off on this for a while, but I split up all of the sticker packs and the pins. The reason why is because finally a customer asked me, hey, can I just buy this pin? I don't want to buy the whole pack. I want 3 of that specific pin. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I need to do that. So I split it up so people can order a pin set or they can order a sticker pack, but then they can also order those stickers individually. And what that does is that actually helped a lot because I noticed that people started to add random stickers into their order and not the entire pack. The pack is cheaper per sticker if you buy it, so there's an incentive for it. But because I offer them single stickers now, it's actually a slightly more in profit now because people are ordering by singles and not the discounted pack. So it kind of helps both ways for me and the customer. They can just get exactly what they want. So in my opinion, I recommend doing that. Offer a pack where they can get all of them, but also offer them singles, and it's going to be better for the customer because they can get exactly what they want and not get what they don't want. Let's see, I updated some about pages on my website and some shipping info, a lot of little tweaks. So yeah, I just went through my entire website and I was just doing tons and tons of tweaks. And that's also in correlation to kind of a plan that I have for 2024. I kind of want to do a slight brand refresh and kind of make the website better. Like I said, offer better hoodies and t-shirts. That's something I'm looking into right now. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to 2024. I did also make a really small taping improvement on one of the boxes that I use, which is kind of cool. That's, I guess, my shipping improvement for this month. Just those tiny little details, noticing that. Right now, and for October, so October, the drop is slightly smaller this month compared to other months, and I think I mentioned that that's what I'm doing for the rest of this year, except for Black Friday. I want the drop in November to be a little bit larger because there's going to be a higher volume of customers and things are going to get discounted. But yeah, that's my plan for the rest of the year. November drop is probably going to be a little bit bigger. December drop is going to be pretty small, I think, to close off the year. Right now I'm trying to just sell off more and more of the old stock and just get ready for 2024 and kind of do a brand refresh and start off on a different foot for that. So basically just cycling through all the old stock. One last thing was here's a patch that I released for October, and I realized something interesting. This could be a manufacturing thing. Maybe the business their equipment is not really tuned in as much and their tolerances aren't as high. But I realized that with the embroidery, if you have spaces that, like for instance text and little tiny details that are really close together, what can happen is some of those details kind of get blurred, or if their machines aren't really calibrated really correctly, things will get messed up. So here's a pretty decent patch. All the spacing is correct and on the artwork and stuff. But for instance, this text, it's pretty squished into here. Now it does look a lot better when it's printed on a t-shirt because you can get really, really high tolerances and the image is very, very crisp. Whereas when you're working with embroidery, some of those little details can get a little bit blurred. And what happened was I noticed that there was a significant, not a significant, but a good margin of patches where this detail would kind of run into each other. So what I was thinking was, when you're making embroidery patches or something like that, first of all, you should want, if you're making them yourself, you should want to make sure your tolerances and everything and the machine is set up right, so you can get everything, all the artwork and details really, really tight. But if you're working with a vendor, this is something that might happen. You might have a lot of stuff running into each other because a lot of the artwork is very, very close together. And this was the first patch I made where it had this much detail. And I'll show you guys, give me a second, an example of where something like that would not occur because the design is more simple and there isn't those kind of tight margins with the text and artwork. Here's a very, very simple one. It's like a PsyOps patch that I made. The artwork is larger and there isn't as much fine detail in this. So the amount of variation and mistakes in this is obviously less than something like this, where the artwork is very, very tight in there. So that's something that I learned and something that I'm gonna focus on, either trying to improve, or this is also an example, maybe some things might not work for embroidery or patches or something like that. It really depends on what you're trying to do, and it's something to think about. But yeah, that was basically October. It was a good month overall. The drop went well, learned some stuff, and basically tweaked a lot of stuff, and I'm looking forward to November and December. If you guys got any value out of this video, or if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.